Hey guys, hope you're all doing great. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus came out in March of 2019, and at the time it was Samsung's flagship device, made to take on the likes of the iPhone XS and Google Pixel 3 XL. I've been using it daily pretty much ever since then, and I wanted to make this video to tell you guys how I feel about this phone after more than a year of ownership, and also to see how it stacks up against the competition today. So let's begin by talking about the design, because I think that's an area where the S10 Plus still holds up really well. The screen to body ratio is very high, it hasn't improved much since then. The main difference is that on phones these days you have a single hole punch camera on the front, whereas on this one you have an additional depth sensor, which also means you can have some fun wallpapers like this one. The phone has a beautiful design, but because of its curvy screen and edges, it tends to be very slippery without a case, and that is something that can be said for Samsung phones today as well. The headphone jack made one of its last appearances on a Samsung Galaxy flagship device on the S10 Plus, and although it is a nice option to have, I personally have only used it maybe once or twice. Once you get used to the convenience of having wireless earbuds, it's hard to go back. One of the weird design choices with this series of phone is the button placements. For example, I find that the power button is up way too high. I have large hands and I still have issues reaching it quite often, so then I have to adjust my grip so that I can reach it. Also, the dreaded Bixby button is just below the volume button, which means that I do quite often accidentally hit that button and summon her without meaning to. If there is one area where I really wish Samsung would make some improvements, it would be to the coating on the screen. This screen is an absolute fingerprint magnet. I have just wiped it, and after playing with it for a few minutes, it's already covered in fingerprints. And it makes me feel like I have really greasy hands or something, even though I wash them very often, especially these days. So let's move on to the display, because wow, doing this review made me rediscover all over again just how amazing this screen really is. It's easy to get used to these kinds of luxuries and take them for granted, but when I was watching some high-resolution HDR content on this, it looked incredible. And I'm sure that the screens on the phones today are even better, but I don't think anybody can reasonably complain about the performance of this display. Except I can. You see, phones nowadays are coming out with displays that have refresh rates of 90 and even up to 120 Hz. And you won't notice that most of the time, but when you are scrolling, it's definitely noticeable that this screen is lagging behind newer devices. Under the screen is Samsung's first attempt at an in-display fingerprint scanner. And I have to say, for a first attempt, it's not bad at all. Of course it fails once in a while, but not often enough for me to complain about. The cameras on this phone are fantastic too. This is the first Samsung flagship to have had a triple camera setup on the back with the newly added ultra wide angle lens that has honestly become my favorite. It allows you to take pictures with a new perspective and often more grandeur. These shots that you're looking through are all taken on the various lenses of the S10 Plus, and I can honestly say that I'm happy with 99% of the shots that I take. The dynamic range is solid. Sharpness is usually great, and for such a small sensor, it's not half bad at creating a bokeh effect either. The only place where the cameras are outclassed these days is when it comes to low light performance, and that's probably something that Samsung could improve on even just with software updates. But if they did that, then you wouldn't need to go buy their new phones, so that's not happening. I'm not really one for taking selfies, but this phone does great here too. I especially appreciate the wide selfie mode that allows you to have more people in the picture without having to carry around a stick. Another area where this phone still holds up pretty great is when it comes to performance. The Snapdragon 855 on this phone combined with 8GB of RAM handles everything as easily as the day I opened it. I got the 512GB model, which still has 380GB free after a year and a half of usage. To be fair, I have some data on a 128GB SD card, but that's another great thing about this phone. It has expandable storage, and I don't see storage being the reason I upgrade this phone anytime soon. Battery life is one area where you definitely expect a phone to deteriorate over time. And yet, I can't complain about that either. It still comfortably gets me through a full day of usage, and usually there's a bit of juice left in the tank. Take yesterday for example. Okay, to be fair, it was a light day of usage, but I did spend almost 2 hours watching YouTube and it only took 17% of the battery life. After doing some quick maths, that means, in theory, I would be able to get around 12 hours of screen on time if I'm just watching YouTube and nothing else. That's probably unrealistic, but the point is that this phone can still go for a really long time. Other apps like Skype are more intensive. 11 minutes of a video call used 5%, and 20 minutes of Google Maps used 4%. At 10 PM I still had 58% left. Not bad. These speakers are pretty average. I mean, they get loud enough, but I wouldn't say they sound great. Having said that, I don't think the current phones will be much better either. Durability has been pretty great as well. I generally try to take good care of my devices, but I would be lying to you if I told you that I haven't dropped this thing dozens of times on various different kinds of surfaces. To be fair, I did buy the leather case from Samsung, and as you can see, that is definitely worse for wear, but that also means that it's done its job. I also seem to have a tradition for some reason that I drop my new phone on the same day that I get it every single time, usually before I have a case. So there is a small nick on the top of the device, but it's not too bad. And if you inspect the screen very closely, there are some small minor scratches, but again, nothing that I'm worried about. So, to wrap this review up, the Galaxy S10 Plus was a fantastic device when it launched in 2019, and as far as I'm concerned, it still is. Will I be buying a new phone next year? Who knows? But if I do, it won't be because this phone isn't good enough anymore. I'm just addicted to tech. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you could like the video, subscribe, and tell your friends to help get this channel off the ground. Thanks, and see you next time.